Catus Maximus here. This is like a department store allied brand of 14-inch bolt cutters. These aren't the kind of cutters you actually get to cut very large bolts. Certainly not locks, if you're just going to bend the handles. Only reason I picked these up, these are on a bargain bin for 10 bucks. Kind of like the idea of the plastic card here. They do advertise a lifetime warranty, which wouldn't include the jaws getting damaged. But if the handles come off or come loose, or you know, this rivet here fails, something like that, they ought to warranty it. Plus you get one of these little metal ball you know, keychain things to go along with it. Wow, this one's really stiff, almost impossible to get off. There we go. We do have some loops in the handle. We can see that you couldn't even put this handle on straight. These numbers here, it's 350 millimeters for 14 inches, of course 14 inches. They don't mention the grade of the material, maybe molybdenum, could just be carbon steel, who knows. What's interesting is this whole section was put together in that bolt, and this was painted. We do see that we have a cam, so what ends up happening is that these jaws, maybe you get some wear on these pivot pins, the jaws aren't coming together quite close enough. This is a lock bolt, so you actually loosen this, then you screw this longer one in. What it'll do is when you close it, it'll just force this jaw to rotate just a little bit more, getting them to close tighter. So it is an interesting feature. Usually really cheap bolt cutters, they won't include this because this is a whole other complication and expense. It is proper. We have you can just see in there's a little roller, and that helps keep the two jaws and the crossbar kind of all lined so it doesn't want to get Catus wonky. But something like these you just do for heavy duty cable cutting, that type of stuff. What do I have here? A deck screw, which is not something you would want to cut with like pliers or even vice grips. They tend to be pretty hard, but they're, you know, if you're doing some work and you need to cut one of these off, that's probably the perfect thing for this. I'm going to cover this up because it's going to want to shoot off. Even with 14 inches, I actually had to put a fair amount of force. High quality deck screws are alloy steel, and they are pretty heavy duty. But if you're doing teardown, sometimes they're trying to get something apart, and if you could just cut the screw off, that'd be great. And you're not doing that once again with something short. Doing something as simple as that, we can see actually already dinged up the jaws a little bit, which is pretty surprising. I'll probably end up just... Let's do that one more time here. Now I'm lower in. I'm going to cover that back up again. There we go. That did keep the pieces. Once again, deck screws are pretty hard, but they should be within reason cutting with a set of quote-unquote bolt cutters. And the first set, it was harder because I had it now near the tip, but it did dent the jaws straight up. And on the inside here, if we can just get that focused, that one, it's a little bit dented, but it's much more dented. It seems that this upper jaw didn't have the same hardness as this lower jaw. So that's kind of unfortunate about these, is the fact that the jaw material is not super hot. Getting all dinged up from a deck screw, particularly a pretty small diameter one. This is not spring steel. It's tough steel, but it's not, you know, tool steel or super hard spring steel. So it's a little disappointing to see the jaws getting dented. But what are you going to do with something that was $10 in a bargain bin? It's kind of the deal with these allieds. There's something that you are intentionally going to abuse, and so you say, why not get the Harbor Freight or some other cheap brand of bolt cutters, since I'm going to tear up the jaws anyway. Why tear up the jaws of a really expensive brand? Get something cheap. Anyway, that's my little review of their whatever this is. 41551 14-inch bolt cutters. They are cheap. The jaws aren't as hard as other more quality brands, but they are adjustable. And they are, instead of riveted, they are bolted together. So yes, you could take these out, grind the jaws, and then readjust it so they'll come together again. So at least there is that option. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.